guys, this is Lord Chael speaking on behalf of our show sponsor, Established Titles. Established Titles is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lords and ladies. They allow you to buy as little as 1 square foot of dedicated land so you can officially call yourself a lord or lady. Established Titles is not just about your ego. You also get to do some good. In addition to your new fancy title, Established Titles supports global charities like One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to help with their afforestation efforts. Your title pack gives you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate in Scotland, and your official certificate proves your title, as well as your unique plot number where you can see the exact location of your land. If you're looking for a fun, last-minute gift this holiday season, this is a great way to surprise a loved one. Who doesn't want to become an official lord? Getting the certificate even allows you to officially change your name to Lord or Lady. Put it on your credit cards, plane tickets, or if you're so inclined, put it on your dating profiles. Established Titles is having a great limited time sale. Go to establishedtitles.com/Chael and save 10% off today. Remember to use the promo code Chael or just click on the link below. Dominick Cruz this week. Let me give you a question, guys, because one of these is a yes. Is he a marketing genius? Is Dominick Cruz a bit of a dick? Those are your two options. You get to decide as the viewer your interpretation of it, but you have no other options. All right, now, let me back this up. I'm taking for granted that perhaps you know what I'm talking about, but Dominick Cruz was doing what's called a media scrum. He's going to be fighting Saturday. He's doing this media scrum. Just to make you familiar with that word, I despise media scrum. I despise the word scrum. It's weird. To associate that and put a definition of it in any walk of life, let alone this one, it's weird, okay? Whoever came up with and coined the phrase scrum, you picked a weird name. But a scrum is different than a conference. A scrum, so you understand what was happening here and you can get a visual, is where Dominick or any athlete sits in one spot. He's got a little backdrop, maybe his picture, maybe the event name behind him, and all the reporters come up to him. So they ask just one-on-one questions, and as soon as they're done, the reporters move to the next guy, a new set of reporters come to Dominick, so on and so forth, and you get over it. They're very effective and important to do, particularly in COVID times where you're trying to keep everybody separated. So just so you understand and can get a visual, Dom is at something called a scrum, and he gets asked about Daniel Cormier. Now, it was a very good question. I was very happy with the person that asked this question because it was different. How many times do you want to hear, so how you feeling? What's the game plan? How is training camp? Oh my God, is this your last one? Are you considering retirement? But it's the same question. It will never stop. Rinse and repeat. Go the next week. Do the exact same thing. So for this guy to ask Dom the question, which is, what's it like for you to be fighting when you have the announce team, your own co-workers talking about you? It was a great question. It was just something a little bit different. So now it's got my interest. Now Dominick Cruz, in true Dominick Cruz form, answers the question honestly. I think Dominick thinks he gets a point for that. You don't get a point for that. A smart man knows what to say. A wise man knows whether or not to say it. Okay, Dominick answers the question. Dominick says, I kind of mute DC when I'm working with him. I don't think Daniel Cormier does his homework. He doesn't show up prepared. He's just there to do his job, get his money, and go home. Oh, boy. I mean, that's a head turner for a number of reasons, right? You're working with the guy, but this is Dominick. You ask him a question, he's going to give you an answer. He's looking like, what did I do wrong? I didn't phrase the question. I answered the question. Okay, fair enough. But this is what happens. And what could have been a very small deal grabs everybody's headlines. My jaw dropped when I saw it. My Texas started lighting up. Did you see what Dominick just said? This turned into something that I don't think Dom meant for it to. Daniel has to get involved, right? And this is very par for the course for Daniel Cormier. You guys may remember. You may not know that this happened, but you may remember 3 weeks ago, Daniel Cormier was putting over his own teammate, Islam Makhachev, and he was attempting to say that Islam is the #1 contender and will be fighting the winner of Poirier Oliveira. And this was one day before Gaethje and Chandler had their match. So Gaethje took very serious offense to this. First off, I got to fight tomorrow, and you're trying to take my motivation away? I've trained for this. I've flown out here, and I'm going to go out and compete against Michael Chandler. Very tough thing to do. And now you're trying to take my motivation of potentially becoming a #1 contender? No way. Zip it. And Gaethje fought back. Now, when Daniel saw Gaethje fight back, I think that caught Daniel off guard. I believe that Daniel's message was, I'm going to be loyal to my guy. I have a platform, I have an audience, and I have a guy. I'm going to bring them together. I got it. And I think that's as far as Daniel thought this was going to go. But now he sees, wait a minute. I just offended one of the boys. I'm going to call his fight. I must be unbiased. So Daniel, to make up for this, calls Gaethje up, says, hey, start over. Let me take you golfing. So they get together and they go golf and they talk it out. Very cool way to handle this. Well, Daniel's golf game, as it pertained to Dominick Cruz, was you sit, I sit. Turn that camera on. Let's have this out. We're going to have this conversation and we're going to show it to the world. You went to the world. You went to the world and insulted me, said that I did not prepare and I'm just here for the money. We're going to work this out. I'm going to hear from you. You're going to hear how it made me feel, but everybody else is going to hear it too. Dominick Cruz, no problem, right? That's Dominick Cruz. You're not going to intimidate him. Nobody's ever intimidated him. He does not back down. I've told you guys a million times, there's a fine line between genius and insanity. I believe Dominick falls on the sign of genius. I will just acknowledge it's a fine line. So they go have their sit down. Now that is compelling. It is extremely compelling. And just off camera, it later gets revealed to us, the audience, that there is a buffer between these two, and his name is Michael Bisping. How would you like Bisping to be the bouncer between right? This is good TV, guys. This is good stuff. So they sit down, and Daniel tells him how it made him feel. And Daniel said one thing to him, Dominick, you were wrong to do that. You were wrong to do that because of how you did it. You told it to the public. I'm your boy. Come and talk to me. If I'm not showing up prepared or what you interpret to be unprepared, come talk to me. Dominick didn't back down one bit. He says, so now I'm wrong? Says, Daniel, you don't show up prepared. And Dominick personalized it. It was with his own fight. And I think it was his match with Cejudo. Could have been his match with Casey that he was specifically speaking to, or a combination of the two. Says, Daniel, I listen to the way you say it. You don't study film. You don't know what it is I'm doing. Daniel says, you know what, Dom? I've seen all of your fights. And you're right, I don't study the same amount of film as you do, but there's other ways to prepare for a fight. You don't have to just lock yourself down and study. There's other things you can do, and I do them. And so then Daniel, to prove his point, said, Dominick, here's what you do. When he talked about the switch step, and he talked about 1-2 or coming over the top, Daniel actually did a really great job. He did study, and he did know Dominick. And here he is right in front of it, and he broke down. Dominick does another step. I don't want to give all of Dominick's stuff away, right? This is the opponent's job to go figure it out. But Daniel did figure it out, and he released it to the world. And Dominick has another movement, and that's where he goes right into his knee pick. Dominick stops him, and he says, I do a switch step, but I throw 1-2. Which hand? Which hand comes first, right? He starts asking him tricky questions. And he goes, so I throw a left and a right. Is it an uppercut? Is it a hook? Is it a straight? Like, he wants some more specifics. And Daniel was a little bit caught with his pants down. Now, in all fairness, I sympathize with Daniel because I wouldn't know either. I know that exact switch step that Dominick Cruz does. I've gone in front of a mirrors, and I used to try to move like Dominick, which is a very specific movement. I couldn't do it. TJ Dillashaw got it down, went all the way to a world championship with some of the footwork. Dominick Cruz, of course, has it down because he got all the way to a world championship, so I tried to do it. Just couldn't do it. My body didn't work that way, but I do know what Daniel was referencing. But I don't know what kind of a punch, and I don't know if it turned at the end, and I don't know if it came underneath. So it was one of these tough spots where this was the I gotcha moment. This was an I got you moment by both of them. Daniel revealed the switch step into the 1-2. He revealed the counter step into the knee pick. Dominick wanted specifics as to which knee do I pick and which hand do I hit you with first. So they both were it was very interesting, and Dominick was not backing down one bit. Now, here's where things get tough. I'll insert myself into this. I have worked with and will continue to work with both of them. Here's where things get tough. Nobody is more liked than Daniel Cormier. That is his superpower. The big bear and the baddest dude in the room is also one of the best sense of humors and one of the most jovial. Guys, you can do whatever you want to Daniel, including insult him. He is not going to do anything other than talk to you about it back. So everybody loves Daniel, and you, the audience, see that. You, the audience, can see the playful character and personality that is a true fan who happened to be really good at the sport that is now commentating Daniel Cormier, but you can see that it comes through. It's his superpower. I don't think Daniel has the greatest thoughts. I don't think he has the greatest voice. It's a personality. He's lovable. He's like Michael Strahan in many ways, and he comes through as that. All right, save that thought. Save that thought, because if you want to talk about who knows more about the sport than anyone else, there is nobody in front of Dominick Cruz. Dominick Cruz's best stuff in MMA is not going to come as a commentator or as a fighter. It's going to come as a trainer. When he starts training guys and he has time to work with the body, he is going to create champions. I'm telling you, he is the most intelligent person in MMA. I have worked with Dominick Cruz before. And I have sat there live on TV. I'm nodding to him. I'm acting like everything makes sense. I don't have the foggiest idea what he said. I heard it all, but I have no idea. We will finish the segment and be in commercial breaks. And I've got 3-4 minutes to reflect back on it. I'll go, oh my God, now I get it. And he's right. He is a chess player like nobody else. The only person I could compare to Dominick Cruz in terms of knowledge of the sport is Kenny Florian. Kenny a little better in jiu-jitsu. Dom knows a little more about the whole thing. Those two and their intelligence in the sport. And I only bring that to you because Daniel had to rebuke this and tell Dominick, Dom, I do homework and I am prepared. I don't do as much homework as you, but that is a very high bar because you do more than anybody, right? Then you've got Jon Anik in the mix. Now, Jon Anik is the consummate professional. He is the bar. If you want to go into live sport, which is if you want to be a sports commentator, the highest level you can get is live sport. There is nobody to look to mentor you, or to try to emulate or copy than Jon Anik. Jon Anik will be the first one to work. He will work more hours than anybody else, and he will be the last one out the door. He is 100% prepared. I only say this because I don't think that anybody's wrong. Daniel, right? This is the totem pole. Somebody's got to be one. Somebody's got to be three. It wouldn't matter if you were three. It wouldn't matter if you were the least prepared. Daniel, as long as you're prepared. It wouldn't matter if you're the most prepared, as long as you're prepared. So Daniel just let him know that, Dom, I absolutely am prepared. I don't do it the way that you do it. I don't study for the exam the same way that you do. But I get an A all the same. And you might get an A+. But we're all doing a great job. I thought that was a fair point by Daniel, and I thought that Dominick tipped his hat to it. Dominick did not dispute those things. The one place where I felt Dominick was coming in out of bounds is he was comparing somebody to him, and I don't think that Dominick knows he's at the top. I interviewed Dominick, guys, one time. Dominick fought TJ Dillashaw, became the champion of the world. That was on a Saturday. I interviewed Dominick on Monday, 2 days later. Dominick yelled at me every time I brought this up. Of course I'm going to bring it up. Why the hell does he think I invited him on the show if it wasn't to talk about the fight that he just had? He yelled at me. And then he yelled some more. I had to stop Dominick 4 times and remind him that he won. He was so angry and he was so bitter. This was meant to be part of his victory tour. I invited him on to polish him up, to put him on my shoulders and lift him up to the crowd. I had to remind him that he won. It's one of the things that Dominick does. It's one of the things that gives him edge. It's one of the things that makes him better than every other people. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's always mad about something. But as a friend of Dominick, some days I would like him to look at the man in the mirror and be proud of what he sees. I would like him to look at that reflection and know, I've worked hard. I've prepared. I belong here. I thought that was the point Daniel was trying to make. Dom, I don't prepare as much as you, but make no mistake, I am prepared. Either way, guys, this was great TV. The numbers did great. Everybody picked up the story. I'm doing it now. So is Dominick Cruz a marketing genius, or is Dominick Cruz a bit of a dick?